All praise to the Most High Yah in the name of His Son, Yahushua HaMashiach. Times don't look right. Everything has changed. But that's only because the people of Yah are not studying His Word. None of us are. Not the way we should. The upheaval you see occurring amongst the nations is a prophetical statement. A time that was forecast long ago by the prophets and teachers of Yah, all under His inspiration. Wars have always occurred, but we can't delineate between those in the normal times and those in the last days. Why haven't we stopped in the chasm which connects the two directions to see the change of their appearance? Were we not aware that the earth that was piled behind us and the flow of the new earth that was rushing towards us was like a pendulum being tilted on its axis? An indication that those things which are ahead pale in comparison to the weight of what lies behind. So if it be that there's less time ahead than there was before, then we must ask ourselves this question. What created the evidence to our assertion? Is it only the difference in music and movies, and dance, and the way our cars look, and how they drive, and the clothes we wear? You know, is it that's alerted us to the change that's occurring before our eyes? Or is it something else? Is it the human condition that carries the flame? Where are the great empires of the past? Where's the Assyrian Empire, the Babylonian Empire, the Roman Empire? You can find what is left of them in the museums, in the ruins, and in a few ancient stone buildings, frequented only by modern tourists. Great nations rise and fall. Is it possible that the United States could be returned to ashes, like so many great nations that have gone before? I don't know. It's a possibility. It's more than a possibility. It's going to happen, because the Most High Yah will be bringing judgment upon this nation for all the wickedness that it has done since its inception. And that is not my words. That's the Bible's words. That's the Most High's words. So why do they decline and fall? History has proved time and time again that a nation's moral condition and its character are the keys to its endurance. God's moral law applies to nations as well as individuals. The Apostle Paul wrote, "Do not be deceived. Yah is not mocked. For whatever a man sows, that he will reap." That is Galatians 6:7. Individuals and nations that sow immorality, violence, and oppression will not endure long. So what then? If we look in the past, and as we live in the present, can't we as people forecast our future by the patterns? And what's more, if the actions which decayed and destroyed all of those kingdoms by the product of the sinful nature, then is it safe to say that an evil reward is given to those who do evil things? Now, of course, people who live for the Father Yah suffer much travail in this life because of our connection to this fallen world. But even in its current condition, if a man serves the Father Yah in spirit and truth, and if he seeks peace, if he walks in integrity and is honest, if he caring to all people, and if he doesn't lie, takes care of his body, loves and takes care of his family, then, it's safe to say that he will have friends, a means to support himself and gain a fair amount of trust and goodwill from those around him. This is the good that reaps a good reward. Now consider this. The way in which the wicked kingdoms fell reveals the spirit that guides them. Known Satanist Aleister Crowley says to live as you will. But what happened to the kingdoms we discussed that lived that way? Did they reap good, or did they perish? But even more, does it even matter? So we see here two different viewpoints. One viewpoint of the righteous man that takes the whole breadth of his experiences in life, and he looks at, basically, he sees the condition of the world, and he sees the wicked man and the righteous man, and he says, you know what? The righteous man, he does good, and he still goes through a whole bunch of trouble. it seems like everywhere he looks, there's one problem here, one problem there. This didn't work out, that didn't work out. Pain, suffering. But then in the end of that righteous man is an eternal reward. We see with the wicked man in the book of wisdom that they view this is all there is. They're nothing but a breath of mist. They're just mist. And at the end of their time, they shall evaporate into the sun. Just evaporate into the air. Just that's it. Go away. Everything that they had done doesn't matter. There's no reward for righteousness. There's no reward for being wicked. There's just, that's it. Your time is over. So their desire, their mindset is get it all while you can. Have as much joy as you can. Make sure that you don't let anything pass you by. Let's set up monuments like you see in the world, monuments, big statues of these people that have passed away. Once, even though the Bible told us that we're not supposed to make images of anything on earth. We're not supposed to make any images. You know, that goes against what the Most High has told us to do. But you have these people that are in these secret societies, these satanic leaders that are guiding our world now. They put these monuments up of themselves so they can be remembered. So they leave a token of their visage, of their image in the world, so that they can be reverenced for all time. And that's what they live for. They live to run around the world like little children, having as much fun as they can, oppressing the poor, you know, and doing all manners of evil to all the people that are in the world, just so that they could live this lavish life and experience this joy and this happy, I guess, gain this happiness that, and this peace and this reverence and this, you know, they feel like that's all that matters, regardless of who they hurt, no matter who they step on, doesn't matter, as long as they get what they want. And so now we have a world like this where only the few have anything while the many suffer. And so it says in the Bible that, you know, woe to those that are ruled by a wicked leader. There's much sorrow, there's much travail, I'm paraphrasing. There's much sorrow, there's much travail, there's just much pain in the world when you see the wicked rule. Now we have a situation now, we have a shutdown, and no one knows when it's going to be over. And no one knows when they're going to get their jobs back. 800,000 people have lost their jobs. And there's no, you know, some people have to go to work without being paid. That's making everything a lot, you know, more dangerous as far as, you know, people that are at the airports have to check, you know, bags and whatever, and security points all over the country is, you know, these are federal workers and they don't have their jobs. Or a lot of them decide they're going home because they have to get another job to feed their family. And so if they can't do that, you know, then they're going to have those posts, they're going to leave their post, and it's going to make everyone, you know, less safe. So then you ask yourself, why would, you know, the people that run this thing, why would they, you know, put us in such danger? Why would they, knowing what this is causing, knowing the backlash from keeping this thing closed, why would they play politics with our lives? You know, there's been no justification for a wall. And it was even lied. He even lied and said that, you know, we're going to have another country pay for the wall. So what do you think is going to happen when, you know, they will pass this wall. They will pass the laws to get this wall put up. It will happen. You know, what's going to happen with who's going to pay for that? Do we have any money to pay for that? I don't think so. I mean, if you ask yourself, why didn't the person that's in office, why didn't he have the Congress to get the wall put up when he had the Senate and the House? You know, why couldn't he have done it then when he had the power to do it? Just got it through. Why did he wait until now once you know, these guys are, you know, doesn't have that power in the Senate? Why would he wait? Seems like there's another purpose behind that. So you have to start thinking about certain things in a different way. You have to start thinking about agendas and not calling them conspiracy theories. If something don't look right, it don't smell right, it just and everybody sees it, then it ain't right. And then you have to ask yourself, okay, so why is it being done? There's a reason, because there's an agenda, and it falls into it's creating the narrative for a bigger picture. It's the narrative of a bigger picture that's been created by all these things that are happening. Why would you have all the federal workers out so they couldn't do their job? So, and then they're tied to refund checks for tax refund checks. They're tied to EBT stuff so families can get their food. You know, they're tied to a lot of the things that we need in order to stay safe. You know, and so why would they allow all of it at once to fall apart, knowing that people that are going to be more affected are people that are lower income, people that don't have much anyway. And so if you have all of this upheaval in the country, what do you think is going to happen? You're leading people to do things that should not be done. That's unsafe for everyone. But they sit there in their high places, not worrying about anything because they're not affected, while we're down here being affected. This just shows you the spirit that's in these people. The people that I'm talking about are in the Book of Wisdom, Part 2, Chapter 2. They have that mindset. They don't believe there's anything out after this. They believe that this is their time and we are just not for their turn. So it is for them to cause us to have pain, to destroy us, to oppress us in ways which are unimaginable. And it's only going to get worse. Because the people that are in office have this spirit. And people in the country, in the world, in the country, they have a lot of people, most people have this spirit too. Because it's not what you would say a Christian nation. It never has been Christian nation. Christianity wasn't even built on on real biblical principles. It was pagan from the beginning. Not from the beginning, after the 4th century, when Constantine changed everything. Started worshiping these Saturnalia and all of these different idols, and instituting all these holidays, which are just helly days. They're not biblical. But I'm not going to go into that. I know that there's people that have come from the Christian faith, the Christian church, and they believe in the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. They believe that they say Jesus, I say Yahusha. They say God, I say Yah. I pray they'll come around to knowing that these are just pagan names. These are just not, and also not just the names, but a lot of these holidays, all of the holidays and these Christian practices that they, it's just amazing the deception that's in the country, in the world. And you have to know who it is that's leading you. And the ones that lead you have this mindset of Book of Wisdoms, Chapter 2. They don't see a future. They don't look for a hereafter. They just look for the here and now. And they do anything they can and it doesn't matter what they do, as long as they keep power and as long as they can control us and as long as they can dictate to us, what they want, and they have this spirit and they get involved in witchcraft and sorcery, which you probably don't think they do, but they do. All of them. Secret societies go out in the club, go out into secret meetings and do rituals and, sacrifices of humans, and they do all kind of stuff. I mean, the things that people do in secret would blow your mind. And only the Most High sees it all, but imagine what he sees them doing. Imagine what he sees all of us doing. But imagine what he sees these wicked ones doing. But they did not know, just like it said, they did not in their wildest dreams know what's awaiting them. What awaits those that do wickedness?